Over the past few days, one question has completely taken over the XRP community. Can XRP actually move higher without the Clarity Act? It's a fair question. After lawmakers delayed action on the legislation, many investors immediately assumed the same thing. No Clarity Act, no bull run. Social media was filled with disappointment. Some people claimed XRP had lost its biggest catalyst. Others said the entire crypto market would remain stuck until lawmakers returned, and a growing number of investors began asking whether they should keep waiting at all. But is that conclusion actually supported by the facts? Before we go any further, let me make one thing clear. This isn't a prediction that XRP is about to surge tomorrow, and it's not an argument that the Clarity Act doesn't matter. Instead, we're going to look at what we actually know today and ask a more important question. Has the delay changed XRP's long-term outlook, or has it simply changed investor expectations? Those are two very different things. One thing I've noticed is that many investors now treat the Clarity Act as if it's the only thing capable of moving XRP's price. But financial markets are rarely driven by a single event. Price is influenced by many factors at the same time: overall market sentiment, Bitcoin's performance, institutional interest, liquidity, macroeconomic conditions, and investor confidence. Legislation can certainly play an important role, but it's only one piece of a much larger puzzle. At the same time, Ripple hasn't stopped building. The XRP ledger continues to evolve with new improvements, while Ripple continues focusing on blockchain-based payment solutions and enterprise adoption. Those developments don't guarantee a higher price, but they do show that progress doesn't completely stop simply because one piece of legislation is delayed. In my opinion, this is where many investors become frustrated. They expect one headline to instantly change everything, but markets rarely work that way. Sometimes positive developments take months before they're reflected in price. Other times, markets react before the news even arrives. That's why separating expectations from reality is so important. So maybe the better question isn't, will XRP move without the Clarity Act? Maybe it's, how much does the Clarity Act actually matter compared to everything else influencing the market today? Because understanding that difference could completely change the way you look at XRP. Will XRP move without the Clarity Act? The honest answer is that no one knows for certain, but it's important to understand what the Clarity Act actually represents. For many investors, it has become a symbol of regulatory certainty. The belief is that clearer rules could give financial institutions more confidence to expand their involvement in digital assets. That's one reason why so much attention has been placed on this legislation. The recent delay led many investors to fear that broader crypto adoption could also be pushed back. However, it's also worth remembering that markets rarely depend on a single event. Investor sentiment, liquidity, Bitcoin's direction, macroeconomic conditions, and institutional demand all influence how the crypto market behaves, even when one expected catalyst is delayed. Other developments can continue shaping the market. At the same time, Ripple has continued improving the XRP ledger. Recent updates have focused on expanding functionality, improving performance, and supporting future use cases for the network. Those technical improvements don't guarantee an immediate price increase, but they show that development continues regardless of short-term market sentiment. In my opinion, that's where many investors become too focused on one headline. If every expectation is placed on a single piece of legislation, disappointment becomes almost inevitable whenever there's a delay. A better approach is to ask a broader question: has the long-term story around XRP fundamentally changed? That's something every investor should answer based on facts, not emotions. The reality is that legislation may influence confidence, but confidence is only one factor that affects price. Markets respond to a combination of adoption, liquidity, economic conditions, regulation, and investor behavior. That's why relying on one catalyst alone can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations. So, will XRP move without the Clarity Act? The reality is that no single law can determine the future of an entire asset. The Clarity Act may help create greater regulatory certainty, but markets are influenced by many factors, including adoption, liquidity, investor confidence, and overall economic conditions. That's why it's important not to base every expectation on one event alone. In my opinion, the smartest investors stay focused on the bigger picture rather than reacting to every headline. Whether the legislation moves forward sooner or later, the key question remains the same. Has the long-term case for XRP changed, or has the timeline simply changed? That's a question every investor should answer for themselves. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you think XRP can make a meaningful move without the Clarity Act, or is that legislation essential? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to OG Job Insights, and turn on notifications for more fact-based XRP updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.